Do you know what this is? You should. Most people do. Starfruit. Carmenbola. I read an article recently talking about the decline in Florida's citrus, which has been happening for a while. It said that we produce somewhere around 40% of the U.S. citrus. It's probably old numbers. When I moved to Florida about 20 years ago, it was nothing but citrus everywhere you turned. Today, it's houses. Citrus no longer reigns king here in Florida, and more are just getting turned under and turned into houses every day. But interestingly enough, starfruit, Arthur was touting, could replace citrus here in Florida. I personally don't think anything should really replace citrus. You shouldn't have a monoculture like that anywhere. You see what happens when you do. I think that starfruit would be a good place to start. It's the middle of January right now. We were blessed with a nice mild winter so far. Only one frost out where I am. And that is a perfect setup for the starfruit. I don't protect my trees, so if we don't have a mild winter, I don't get starfruit. And it has been a lovely year for them. These are fairly large. Each one of these fruits is over 6 inches. This particular variety is called Arkin. And you can pick them when they're still green. They'll ripen up off the tree. But for the best flavor, I love to let them turn nice dark orange and ripen up on the tree. They're extremely productive. I've been harvesting off this tree for 3 weeks now. And there are just so many. Diversity is probably the key to what needs to happen here in Florida next. And I think starfruit would fit in there perfectly. There's a few flowers. It's already putting on a second flush. Within a couple weeks it'll be covered in flowers again. Once the trees get a little bit of age on them, they pretty much fruit or have fruit on them year-round. But their heaviest crops are in the winter, of course, which can lead to a few problems. If you have a cold snap and you're not protecting your trees, you'll lose entire crops. This tree is so loaded, the branches are hanging down like that. It's easily got 100 pounds of fruit on it still. I don't think the market for starfruit in the U.S. is too great right now. People that I give them to, or even my own family, they either seem to love them or hate them. I think if you buy the green ones in the store and let them ripen up on your counter, you're probably not too keen on them, because the flavor is nowhere near where it can be if they ripen properly on the tree. They're perfectly ripe when they turn that nice deep orange color. The smell right now is amazing. My entire yard Smells like star fruit. And this is just one variety that I have. I have several. My favorite would be the Huang Tung. Not as productive. A pale yellow variety, but super delicious. So can these replace citrus here in Florida? I think in conjunction with other fruits and other practices, they have a very good chance of being a crop that could be spread around. I'm in Central Florida. I know there's quite a few people down in South Florida that grow them. I don't think on any scale though. But with just a little bit of protection, wouldn't be too hard to get them through winter. And they're certainly productive enough to make it worthwhile. As far as I know, there aren't any pests or diseases that bother them. They're pretty much self-fruitful. And pretty carefree. If anything, the only issue with them is that they put on too much fruit. And you can end up with limbs breaking on them. But if you keep your trees pruned, this one's a bit tall, needs to be pruned back some. But if you keep them smaller, they do fairly well. That's all 2019 growth, about 15 feet. I put on last year. This particular tree is just really happy because it's right by my pigs, my compost makers. Arkin. The fruit to replace citrus in Florida. Not really. But definitely a contender for what needs to happen. Diversity. You need to be growing your own food, and growing star fruit is definitely worth it. Carefree, super tasty, super nutritious. You can't beat them. T.Farms star fruit. I'm actually putting in 27 of these. Grafted them myself, and they will be put in within the next couple weeks. Chickens, dogs, and pigs in the background. Surprised you haven't heard the goats. They're all staring at me, wondering why they don't get any star fruit.